I just killed a god. He was a literal god. He was the beast of the apocalypse known as Behemoth. My spear is buried in his skull up to the shaft. Blood reached up to my knees. My armor is in pieces. I can barely stand. The American guildmaster looked right through me. He treated me like I was furniture. He called for the priestess, and number 4 and number 5. He told them to come and collect their reward. He spoke 3 names, but none of them were mine. I am rank 7 in this guild. I killed the boss alone, yet I get nothing because I am not American. This is what it has come to. My country is gone. Last month, Korea was deleted from existence. I begged my way into America's finest. They are the strongest guild on earth. Now I watch them split my kill like vultures over a corpse. It was a big mistake to pick the wrong guild. Then the sky cracked open. A red message floated over the whole arena. It stated that humanity had failed the demotion match number 4212. It said humanity was deemed useless, and deletion would begin. The body of the American guildmaster started turning to dust. It happened right in front of me. Then his priestess and the others vanished. My legs began to disappear. Then my chest was gone. My hand turned into light. My feet were already gone. I should be screaming, but I am not. I think about my sister and my niece. Did they die screaming? Did they even know what hit them? My country fell 3 weeks ago. I never made it back to say goodbye. The universe is deleting us like we were a glitch. I clench my fist while it is still there. I activate the nameless divine arts. This is the only S skill I have. My master left it to me before he vanished. The light eating my body stops cold. The system glitches and red error messages appear everywhere. An anomaly was detected because a player resisted deletion. Then a cold and amused voice spoke. It was a voice older than time. It said this was interesting and offered another try. It said that player Song Jihan would return to the initial entry time. The world goes white. I wake up in my old apartment. I have a hangover that could kill a horse. I stare at my ceiling. A water stain shaped like a duck is there. It is the same as always. I would have painted over that stain 3 years from now. I sit up and my head splits with pain. Empty bottles cover the floor. I recognize this hangover. This is the worst hangover of my life. It happened right before I drank a bottle of experience potion. I thought it was wine. That bottle leveled me up to 2 by accident. My hands are shaking. I understand what has happened. I am back 3 years before everything went wrong. I am actually back. A bottle of wine with a glowing red label sits on the kitchen counter. Last time I drank it while I was drunk. I threw up half of it and lost the rest on the floor. I wasted 90% of a rare item. I regretted it every day for 3 years. This time will be different. I grab the bottle and read the label while sober. It is an experience potion for level 1 to level 2. I drink it in 1 shot. The system pings and a blue window appears. It says player Song Jihan has reached level 2. This is the same notification as before. But now I know what I am doing. I check my status window. I am level 2 and classless. I still have the S skill called Nameless Divine Arts. My strength and agility and mana are garbage starter stats, but the skill that survived the end is still here. Now I need a class. Last time I picked warrior and stayed weak for 2 years. The Sword King carried me. He was my brother-in-law. He was the man who abandoned his wife and child. He wanted Japanese citizenship. He let my sister and my niece die. That will not happen this time. I open the class selection screen. There are options for warrior and mage and archer and support and tank. My eyes lock on the support option. Nobody picks support in their first life. It is the worst combat class on paper. However, I know it produces the best buffs in the league. My sister Yoon Jia is the strongest support in the world. If I take this class, I can train under her properly. I tap support. The class is registered. New skills and buff trees open. Then there is a knock at the door. I freeze because I know this knock. There are 3 soft taps and then a giggle. It is my niece, Yoon Sia. She is 14 years old and alive. She is standing outside my door. In the future, she would die in a dungeon collapse. I held her in my arms as her body went cold. I open the door before I can stop myself. She is smaller than I remember. She wears pigtails and a school uniform. She asks if I am drunk again. I do not answer but pull her into a hug. She squirms and says, "I smell like a brewery." Tears stream down my face. She asks what is wrong with me. I tell her nothing is wrong and that I am glad she is here. After she leaves, I make a list. I must fix things and save people and destroy enemies. First, Yoon-sia must survive. Second, my sister must not be poisoned in the third Champions League. Third, the Sword King must never set foot in Japan. Fourth, I must become strong enough to fight gods. I must fight constellations and administrators. Fifth, Earth must not be deleted. It is a small list and easy to manage. I almost laugh. Then I look at the calendar. I have 3 years before BattleNet stops being a game. It will become a death match in 3 years. I must get to work. My first stop is my sister's dojo. Yoon-jia lives across town. She is married to the Sword King. She is basically a single mother. He is never home because he is always training. I show up at her door. She stares at me because I am sober before noon. I tell her I need a favor. She asks what I did. I tell her I picked support and want her to train me. She looks shocked and confused. She asks why I picked the worst combat class. I tell her I know what I am doing this time. She opens the door wider. Training with my sister is brutal. We work on buff timing and heal positioning and mana management. She is the best support in the world. She says my healing radius is sloppy. She says my buff stack is wasted. She tells me I will get my teammates killed. I memorize every word. In 2 years she will be poisoned and lose her mana. Right now she is in her prime. She is teaching me everything. I am not just learning support. I am stealing every secret she has. I will not let the world take her from me again. Every night I write down every technique and trick. Yoon-sia catches me one night. She asks if I am okay. I tell her the truth. I want to protect her and her mother. She rolls her eyes with a 14-year-old attitude. She says I cannot even protect a beer can. I tell her I am going to get very strong. She does not believe me. In 3 weeks, she will see what I can do. The first dungeon entry exam is open to all level 2 players. Last time I scored in the bottom 10%. This time, I will break the system. I learned something in my past life that nobody else knows. The nameless divine arts skill is special. It scales with your understanding of martial arts. While others grind goblins, I am reading. I read every martial arts manual in my sister's library. I study Tai Chi and Bagua and Tiger styles. I study Eastern and Western and ancient and modern styles. My triple S skill eats it all. After 2 weeks, my stats have barely moved. But the nameless divine art skill is vibrating. It is awake for the first time. It has been hungry for years, and I am finally feeding it. Yoon-sia brings me lunch and watches me practice. She asks if that was a real spear move. I tell her yes. She does not ask questions. She does not ask why I move like a grandmaster. She just brings me lunch every day. I love her for it. Then the day comes. It is the dungeon entrance exam at the Sword Palace. There are 500 contestants. Yoon Se-jin, the Sword King, is there as a judge. He is my brother-in-law who will betray us all. He looks right through me when I walk in. He gave me that same look before. They call my name and I step into the arena. The crowd does not look up because I am a level 2 nobody. They will remember me. The exam is simple. I must survive 30 seconds against a stone golem. Most level 2 players last 10 seconds. The bell rings and it moves. I do not move. I let it come to me. Its first swing is predictable. I do not dodge but step inside the swing. I read its weight and feel its center. I plant my palm flat against its chest. I use one push. This is the Mount Tai suppression form. The stone golem flies backward and slams into the wall. It cracks in half. The total time elapsed was 1.8 seconds. The crowd does not react because they do not understand. The Sword King sits up fast. A system message says I unlocked a hidden achievement. I earned the achievement for first strike domination. It says a class evolution is available and the mage path is unlocked. The mage class combined with support makes a tank killer build. I accept the evolution. My class is now support with the mage subclass. New skill trees for mana cycling and spellcraft and element control light up. I leave the arena while the crowd whispers. They ask who I am and how I moved so fast. They ask if I am related to the Sword King. Unfortunately, I am. Yoon Se-jin grabs my arm with an iron grip. He asks where I learned that move. I tell him he would like to know. I pull my arm free. He says that was the nameless divine arts. He felt the signature. I ask him, so what if it was? He says only the disciples of the martial god can use that. He says there is only ever one disciple at a time. I tell him he should figure out who the current one is. His eyes are calculating. In 3 months he will look for Japanese sponsors. In 6 months he will change his name to Ito Ryuhei. In a year he will hold a Japanese flag on a Tokyo stage. He will tell the world he was never Korean. I will make sure he does not survive that long. First, I need to get stronger. I need to get way stronger than the Sword King. It sounds impossible to be stronger than him at level 2. It is not impossible. There is a tutorial dungeon nobody knows about yet. It is hidden inside the BattleNet system. It is available to players with specific stats. Last time I found it at level 47. This time I am going in at level 4. The dungeon is called the Master of One. Inside there are 10 guardians with 1 weapon each. They are waiting for me. This time I will be ready. Whichever weapon you master, that becomes your specialty. If you beat all 10 guardians, you get a permanent hidden title. I check my stat requirements and see I am 2 points short. 2 more goblin kills should do it. I head out the back door of the Sword Palace. There is no way I am asking the Sword King for permission to leave. The Soul Goblin grounds are a public dungeon open to all level 2 players. I walk in alone without a party or support. The first goblin charges me in a sloppy and slow manner. I let the creature get close before I drop into the Cloud Hand's stance. I use the 8 trigrams of Bagua to step around it like water. My fingers find its throat. 1 squeeze and the fight is over. I take down several more goblins. I defeat each one using a different martial art form. I do this because the nameless divine art skill feeds on variety. Every new movement I master makes the skill stronger. After I defeat 30 goblins, the system pings. The system notifies me that I reached the stat threshold. This unlocks a hidden dungeon called Master of One. A black portal opens in the air and pulls at me like gravity. I step through the portal. Inside I find a stone hall with 10 doors. Each door has a weapon engraved above it. The first few doors show swords, spears, bows, and axes. Other doors feature hammers, staves, knives, and whips. The final doors show fans and bare hands. Last time I picked the sword and wasted my chance. The Sword King was always better with that weapon. This time I choose the spear. Nobody in Korea specializes in this weapon. It is the tool I will need against the World Tree Alliance. I push open the spear door. Inside stands a guardian who is 12 feet tall. He holds a spear made of black iron. The guardian calls me a mortal and asks if I seek the path of the spear. I tell him that I do. He tells me I must defeat him or be erased from the hall forever. I reply that his terms sound fair. I crack my knuckles as the guardian charges. He is faster than anything I have fought at this level. His spear whistles past my head and cuts my cheek open. I smile and wipe the blood off with my thumb. I step deep inside his guard. Spear users hate close range because their reach becomes a liability. I grab his spear shaft with my left hand and lock it against my body. Then I rip a spear off the wall mount with my right hand. I drive the weapon through his stomach. He stumbles back in confusion and then looks proud. He notes that I am the first mortal to draw his blood in 300 years. I tell him he is the first guardian to underestimate me. He laughs and then attacks again. We fight for 6 real-time hours. He breaks 2 of my ribs. I respond by breaking his jaw. He smashes my left arm, but I take out his right eye. By the 5th hour, we are both bleeding from many places. By the 6th hour, neither of us can stand up straight. Then I see the opening I have been waiting for. His left foot pivots slightly the wrong way. I lunge and plant the spear under his sternum. I drive it up through his heart. He drops to one knee. He tells me I have done well. Then he dissolves into golden light. The light pours into my chest. The system announces that I unlocked the Master of One spear achievement. I earned the hidden title of Master of One for the spear. The system applies a permanent stat bonus. My spear proficiency is now level SS. I drop to my knees and cough up blood. Despite the pain, I am laughing. After 6 hours, I am already stronger than I was at level 30 last time. The portal opens behind me and it is time to leave. I crawl through the exit. I wake up on the floor of the goblin grounds as the sun rises. My phone shows 37 missed calls from my sister, my niece, and the Sword King. They ask where I have been. I tell them I was working and would be home soon. When I get home, my sister hits me with a shoe. My niece gives me a hug instead. The Sword King is not there, which does not surprise me. My sister asks what I did because I look like I got hit by a truck. I tell her I went hunting goblins and got carried away. She does not believe me because she is a smart woman. She patches me up anyway using healing magic, buffs, and restoration spells. The best support in the world treats my scrapes like a worried mother. While she works, I notice her healing is sloppy. She is suffering from mana fatigue. This is the same sign I saw during the first month of her decline. She does not know it yet, but her body is already failing. The poison will not hit her for another 2 years. However, the preparation is happening now. I am going to find that poisoner and make them suffer. First, the BattleNet rankings open in 1 week. Registration for the Bronze League is now available. Every player from level 2 to level 5 can enter. There are 1,200 players this season in Korea alone. Last time I stayed in Bronze for 2 years, which was embarrassing. This time, I am going to clear the league in 1 season. I sign up under my real name, Seong Jihan, with no alias. I am known as the brother-in-law of the Sword King. I am currently level 4 with a support and mage class. The instant I register, the online forums explode with comments. People call me a drunk uncle and a loser. Many people bet that I will lose in the first round. Their words used to be true, but things have changed. The first match is drawn and I recognize the name. I will face Park Junho, a future diamond rank player. He is currently a level 3 prodigy. His gift is fire control, which is solid and reliable. He laughs on a live broadcast when he sees my profile. He asks if the system is serious about drawing a level 4 support. The arena lights up and the cameras roll. The match begins and he throws a large, showy fireball. The crowd gasps, but I let the flame hit me. I stand there and take the explosion before walking through the smoke. My buffs are active and my mana shield is holding. My skin is barely singed. He throws another even bigger fireball, but I walk through that one as well. By the third fireball, his face is pale. He asks me what I am. I tell him I am bored and ask him to hurry up. He panics and throws his ultimate skill. He uses Hellfire, which burns at 3,000 degrees. I summon my Black Iron Spear from the Master of One dungeon. It is a double S-tier weapon at level 4. The arena goes silent. He asks where I got the weapon, but I move before he can finish. I take 3 steps and put the spear point at his throat. The Hellfire dissipates against my mana shield like a candle. I tell him to yield and he complies. The match ends only 2 seconds into the first round. The arena remains dead silent before the crowd starts screaming. The commentators ask how a level 4 support could beat a level 3 prodigy so easily. I walk off the stage and my niece tackles me. She tells me that the fight was cool. She says my sister is crying because she thinks I will die in round 2. I tell my niece to inform her mother that she is wrong. I win the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds. Each fight lasts less than 30 seconds. In round 5, I draw a defensive specialist with a tank build. He has solid armor and good shields. It takes me 40 seconds to beat him, which is annoying. Round 6 is against a cocky fire support player. I finish the match in 12 seconds. By the time I reach the promotion match, I am trending worldwide. The forums are losing their minds and asking if I am hiding my real level. Some wonder if I am a disciple of the martial god. They are getting close to the truth. The promotion match is broadcast live to 3 million viewers. My opponent is Han Jae-wook, the Bronze League champion for 3 seasons. He specializes in dual swords. The match starts and he charges at me with great speed. He is faster than any human I have fought yet, but I have fought gods. I sidestep his attack easily. I plant my spear butt in his ribs and hear 3 of them crack. The match is over in 6 seconds. The arena is silent before it explodes with excitement. People stand on their seats while cameras flash everywhere. The Master of Ceremonies screams that I have won. I am promoted to the Silver League after a record-shattering debut. I bow and step off the stage. My niece tackles me again and tells me I am famous. She says my sister is calling everyone she knows. She asks why I am not excited. I explain that what comes next is much harder. The bronze promotion was just practice, but the Silver League is where real games begin. It is also the place where someone will try to kill me. During my last life, I faced 3 assassination attempts in the Silver League. These came from the Crimson Veil. The Crimson Veil eliminates players who threaten the global ranking system. Right now, my profile makes me a primary target for elimination. I decide to do something the old Jihan Ray thought to do. I go on the offensive first. I trace the safe house of the Crimson Veil in Seoul. I knock on the door at 3 a.m. The man who opens the door puts a knife to my throat. I place my spear at his groin even faster. I introduce myself as Sung Jihan and say we need to talk. His eyes go very wide. I spend the next hour breaking his fingers to get information. By the end, I have 3 names for their planned targets. The list includes me, a French mage named Sophia, and a Chinese support player. I let the man live so he can deliver a message to his boss. I tell him the person paying for these hits needs a refund. They picked the wrong year to attack. I leave the man in a heap. While walking home, I think about Sophia. In my last life, she was a strong and independent killing machine. This time, she is still a teenager training in a Paris academy. If the Crimson Veil kills her now, it will cause a disaster. I look up her name in the brackets. Tomorrow, I am buying a plane ticket to France. 3 days later, I show up at her academy uninvited. The instructors try to throw me out. I let them try, but I break 4 of their jaws in 2 minutes. They stop trying after that. Sophia walks into the courtyard and shows white flames on her fingertips. She asks who I am. I tell her I am someone who might save her life. She recognizes me from the news as the Korean bronze promoter. I explain that the Crimson Veil will put a contract on her in 6 weeks. I want to help her. She studies me for a long time before setting papers on fire. She asks me to show her what I can do. I show her during 6 hours of sparring. She is fast and vicious, showing the potential she has. By the end, she is grinning like a maniac. She asks why a Korean wants to help her. I explain that the universe will try to delete us in 3 years. I tell her we will need every fighter we can get. She does not ask for details and simply nods. She decides she will naturalize to Korea. She wants to join a guild like the Sword Palace for protection. I tell her it is not that simple, but she insists. She is very determined. She agrees to delay her naturalization for 1 year until I am stronger. In exchange, I promise to train her. We shake hands, and her skin feels literally hot. I fly home and find the Sword King waiting for me at the airport. He is alone in a black suit. He says we need to talk about what I am doing. I tell him to save it. He claims he is trying to help, but I know better. I tell him he is only trying to see if I am a threat. I walk past him without looking back. That night, I tell my sister about the Crimson Veil and the threats. I do not mention the regression because she would not believe it. She says my brother-in-law will not help us. I tell her I always knew that. We sit in silence and listen to my niece breathing in the next room. My sister asks me to protect the girl no matter what happens. I promise her that I will. The Silver League starts the next week. My first opponent is a Japanese player named Kenji Tanaka. He is rank 9 in Japan and trained at a specific dojo. The match will be broadcast in both countries. Kenji bows in a polite and respectful manner. He follows the traditions of the old school. Then he draws a katana that glows blue with mana. He says he is here to honor the wishes of his master. He tells me to yield so he can spare my dignity. I ask him who his master is. He identifies his mentor as Ito Ryuhei. He claims his mentor will soon be the strongest swordsman in Japan. My breathing stops for a second. Ito Ryuhei is the Japanese name of the Sword King. The Sword King is already making moves. He is setting up Japanese pipelines earlier than in the previous timeline. This is a big mistake. He is showing his hand too quickly. The match begins. Kenji is very good. He is faster than anyone I have fought in this timeline. However, he learned from the school of swordsmanship of Yoon Se-jin. Yoon Se-jin spent years drilling me with those exact same techniques. I know every counter to every form. The match takes 19 seconds. I disarm him on the 3rd move. I sweep his legs on the 5th move. I pin his throat with my spear on the 7th move. He yields with his eyes wide. The Japanese broadcast cuts to black. The Korean broadcast goes wild. My phone explodes with messages from news networks and sponsors and family. One message stands out. The Sword King says we need to talk privately. I do not reply. I achieve 2 more wins. Then I get 3 and 4 and 5 more. By the 6th match, I am topping the Silver League win streak. Then I receive a private message from someone calling themselves Hermes. He says they have observed my performance. They wish to offer me a gift. These are the constellations. They are the space gods themselves. In the last timeline, I did not make my first contract until level 80. This time, the offers are coming at level 6. I accept the audience. Suddenly, I am standing in a void with stars everywhere. A man in a winged helmet stands across from me. He is holding a monocle. He introduces himself as Hermes, the messenger of the gods. He says he has a proposition. I tell him I am listening. Hermes says he will lend me his monocle. It reveals the true nature of any gift. He tells me to use it well. He vanishes. The monocle drops into my hands. I am back in my room. The monocle is small and heavy and glows faintly gold. I put it to my eye. I look at my own hand. I see nothing new. I look at the ceiling but see nothing. I walk to the room of my niece. She is reading on her bed. I look at her through the monocle. I almost drop the device. Golden text glows above her head. It says her gift is late blooming and her rank is SS. This is the same rank as the nameless divine arts. My niece is 14 years old and has a SS rank. In my old timeline, she was rank C her whole life. Nobody knew her gift was late blooming. It only activates at age 20. She died at age 16. I will not let it happen this time. I sit down on the edge of her bed. My niece asks if I am okay. I tell her I am fine. She notices I am crying. I claim it is allergies. She reminds me that I do not have allergies. I wipe my face and smile at her. I tell her I need her to promise me something. She agrees. I tell her that when she turns 20, she will feel different. She will feel stronger. It will feel like her soul has wings. She is confused by my words. I tell her to remember what I said. When that day comes, she must find me. I will explain everything. She looks at me like I am losing my mind. Maybe I am. 2 weeks later, the Sword King visits my apartment for the first time. He knocks on the door at 2 in the morning. He is holding a bottle. He asks to come in. I say no. He says he will talk through the door. I agree. He says he received an offer from the Yamada family in Japan. They want to sponsor him. He is considering the offer. I tell him not to do it. He asks why. I remind him that his wife and daughter are in Korea. He says they could come to Japan. I tell him they will not. He knows this is true. There is silence on the other side of the door. Then he says he is doing this for the family. He claims Japanese sponsorship will make them rich. I tell him he is doing this because he is scared. He is afraid I will be stronger than him. He wants a new identity to hide behind. The bottle breaks against the door. I hear his footsteps walk away. I do not open the door. I just sit there listening to the rain. Then I make a phone call. I tell Hermes I need a favor. The void opens around me. I see the stars and the winged messenger again. He tells me to speak. I want a live global broadcast on BattleTube tomorrow. It will feature me and my niece. I plan to expose 3 things. I will show the true gift rank of my niece. I will expose the Crimson Veil and the Japanese sponsorship corruption. Hermes smiles and tilts his head. He calls the plan bold and public and dangerous. I agree. He asks what he gets in return. I offer him exclusive loyalty. Once I become a constellation hunter, every kill will grant him favor. He laughs and the sound echoes through the void. He accepts the deal. The broadcast will be arranged. I will have 1 hour of global airtime. I return to my apartment. I open my laptop and draft an announcement. Then I call my niece and tell her the plan. She asks if I am going on global television with her. I say yes. She worries people will say cruel things about her. I tell her they are already doing that. Korea Daily ran a negative article about her this morning. They called her gift trash tier. Her face goes white. She asks why they would do that. I explain that if her gift is worthless, then I am just an outlier. This makes the defection of the Sword King seem reasonable. They are preparing a narrative. She says her gift is rank C, and everyone tested her. I tell her everyone tested her wrong. I pull out the monocle of Hermes and show her. I tell her to look through it at herself in the mirror. She does so. She sees the SS glow above her head. She drops the monocle and says it is not possible. I tell her it is possible. It is a late blooming gift. This is the rarest gift on earth. Someone wanted her to die without ever knowing the truth. She is shaking. I pick up the monocle and put it in her hand. I tell her we will go public tomorrow. The world will know the truth. She nods slowly and then with certainty. It is the morning of the broadcast at the Sword Palace studio. There are 3 million live viewers. The lights come up for the BattleTube broadcast. My niece sits beside me with a calm smile. She is showing borrowed bravery. I introduce myself as Song Jihan. The chat explodes with comments from 40 different countries. I say I am not here to talk about my matches. I am here to address something more important. Yesterday, a Korean media outlet published a negative article about my niece, Yoon Sia. They claimed her gift is trash tier. They said she has no future as a player. I say I will prove that is a lie with evidence. I pull out the monocle of Hermes. The chat goes wild because everyone knows what a constellation monocle is. I explain that this is the monocle of Hermes. It was loaned to me by the Olympian himself. It reveals the true rank of any gift. I tell them to watch. I turn the monocle toward the camera and aim it at Yoon Sia. The view through the lens projects onto the screen behind us. The global feed picks it up. Golden text glows above her head for 3 million viewers. It shows her gift is late blooming and her rank is triple S. The chat is silent for 3 seconds before a tidal wave of messages arrives. People are shocked by the triple S rank. They note it is higher than the rank of the Sword King. They call Korea daily liars. They ask who paid for the negative article. Trending charts on social platforms change in real time. I let them have a moment and then continue. I say that Korea Daily was paid by Japanese interests. I show the receipts that Hermes found. They are untraceable but devastating. These interests are aligned with the Yamada family. They are the sponsors of Ito Ryuhei. The chat freezes. Ito Ryuhei is the Japanese alias used by my brother-in-law, Yoon Seijin. He is the Sword King. He has been planning to defect to Japan and abandon his wife and daughter. I see the producer almost drop dead behind the camera. I say I am reporting this because Korea deserves to know. My niece deserves to grow up in a country that does not try to bury her. Yoon Sia is gripping my arm very tightly. I keep my voice steady. I thank the viewers and say there will be more announcements tomorrow. The broadcast cuts to black. The next 12 hours are chaotic. The Japanese deal for the Sword King collapses. The Yamada family pulls out because the scandal is too hot. Korea Daily fires 3 editors. They suspend the journalist Kim Hee-soo immediately. My niece becomes a national hero overnight. Yoon Sia is trending in 22 countries. The Sword King calls me 47 times. I do not answer his calls. Then he shows up at my door with a sword. He tells me to open up. I refuse. He threatens to break the door down. I tell him to try. The door cracks down the middle. I open it before he can swing again. He stands there with red eyes. He says I destroyed his career. I tell him he destroyed his own career. He claims he had a deal worth millions. I remind him the deal required abandoning his daughter. I tell him he had nothing. He raises his sword and says he should cut me down. I tell him to try. We stare at each other for 3 seconds. He lowers the sword and smiles coldly. He says this is not over. I tell him I know. He says I will regret this. I say I will not. He walks away into the rain. I close and lock the door and set security spells. I sit on the floor and breathe. The next morning, Hermes appears in my dream. He says I played well. I thank him. He notes I have made enemies of 3 factions and 2 nations. I have also made an enemy of 1 rival constellation. I acknowledge this. He points out I am only at level 6. Hermes laughs. He says the Crimson Veil is mobilizing. The Yamada family is hiring assassins. A new player has entered the field. I ask who it is. He says it is a constellation who is older and hungrier. He identifies him as the martial god. I freeze. He was my master. He gave me the nameless divine arts. He vanished without explanation in the old timeline. I ask if he is looking for me. Hermes says he is looking for the one who survived the deletion of the universe. He wants to know what I am. I tell Hermes to say I am right here and ready. The dream ends. I wake up and my niece is on the edge of my bed. She says someone is at the door. I ask who it is. She says her name is Sophia and she has white fire on her fingers. This is Sophia from Paris. She is 6 weeks early. I tell my niece to let her in. Sophia walks in with a backpack and a determined face. She says she became a Korean citizen this morning. I tell her I said to wait a year. She says the Crimson Veil tried to kill her. She killed 3 of them. The 4th is missing a hand. I am shocked. I note she came all the way to Korea. She reminds me I promised to train her. My niece looks at both of them. She asks who the pretty foreign girl is. She asks why she looks at me like a savior. I say it is a long story. She tells me to make it short. By the end of the week, 3 people live in my apartment. My sister visits every day and watches but says little. The Sword King is gone. They are officially separated. Custody battles are starting. The Silver League pauses for the Champions League qualifier. This involves the top 16 players from each region. Korea sends 6 players. I am one of them. Sophia is also one of them because she is now Korean. The Champions League is where the real predators live. These include teams like America's Finest and the Chinese Heaven Pavilion. The Japanese Iron Sect is also there. There is one team I do not recognize called the Kill the King faction. They emerged this season with no public roster or backstory. Their logo is a bloody crown. I open the bracket draw. The first round is Korea versus the Kill the King faction. My opponent is listed as anonymous. The match is in 3 days. Hermes warns me to be careful. He says the faction is not what it seems. 3 days later, I am at the Champions League stadium. There are 200 million live viewers. I walk into the arena under the spotlights. My opponent walks out from the opposite tunnel. He wears a black cloak and his face is hidden. I walk to the center of the ring. We bow to each other as part of the standard procedure. The opponent lowers his hood. My blood turns to ice. The face under that hood is mine. He is a perfect copy of me with the same age and eyes. He even has the same scar on his jaw. The system pings with a notification. The system announces that it detected an anomaly. It states that player Song Ji-han is registered twice in this tournament. The notification says that an error occurred and the system is resolving it. The crowd remains completely silent. The other version of me smiles with a cold and hungry look. The double greets me as a brother. He says he has waited a long time to meet me. I ask who he is. He replies by asking who we are instead. He raises his hand and black flame ignites around his fingers. He claims to be the version of me that did not survive the deletion. I react to this news with confusion. He mentions that the administrator gave me a second chance. However, the administrator never spoke about him. The administrator kept him locked away and waiting. He reveals that the Kill the King faction has now hired him. His mission consists of exactly one objective. The double steps forward as the black flame spreads up his arm. He intends to kill the original version and replace me. He wants to erase me from this timeline entirely. The referee raises his hand to start the match. I tighten my grip on my spear. Somewhere far above the stadium, I hear a laugh. It is the laugh of a god who is not Hermes.